We back. Gotta get a little political in this live, man. There's a lot of things going on in the political realm that we ain't talk about. Charlie Kirk, Medal of Freedom. You got Donald Trump pulling back all democratic policies. You got the motherfucking attorney general facing charges. They hit her like they hit Marilyn Mosby. For people who know who Marilyn Mosby is. JB, what it is. White on white violence is still a thing just because we ain't talked about it. Don't ever think it stopped. Never because it didn't. Still got white on white violence going on. I mean, don't ever think that shit stopped. Just because we stopped talking about it, that don't mean it don't exist. Yeah. Hit that like button. It's getting chilly in here, man. Turn the heat on. Oh, fuck. Man, you better. You better. Shit, I'm still checking them bitches too. I thought I seen a sniper on the roof the other day. It scared me half to death. Almost crashed. You heard me? The whole time it was just construction worker, man. Yeah, but you guys stay vigilant out here, brothers and sisters. You guys stay vigilant out here, man. We live in wild times, man. Then you got I guess how they gonna do this is the Republicans is gonna attack left wing radicalism. Oh, all right. Appreciate it, bro. I guess that's how they gonna do this, man. Republicans is gonna attack left wing radicalism, and the Democrats is whenever they get back in office is gonna attack right wing. What's up, James? So y'all gotta realize we still blind. We still blind, JB. All right, all right. Yeah, people gotta realize, yo, these people are on the same team. Like, only people is beefing is the supporters. You know what I mean? That the actual Democrats and Republicans, like the people that claim that shit. These motherfuckers is pushing these laws, man. They on the same team, man. On the same motherfucking team. Yeah. So look, right?
That flag.
So Donald Trump has done a host of speeches. Y'all know how you get down with his speeches.
Burning mob, and we've made it 1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it from not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts. A flag burning mob, and we've
pulling back freedom of speech.
1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it from not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts.
So freedom of speech is done, man. He admitted it. No more freedom of speech, y'all. Ain't never been no freedom of speech. The freedom of speech should be without consequence. Who's this guy? Oh, the guy that set the fires. More white on white crime. See. What else I wanted to show y'all? Turning Point USA having their own Super Bowl. Y'all think about having their own halftime show? You think this is what Charlie Kirk wanted? Or they taking Turning Point USA in a whole nother direction, man? What's going on with that? Yeah, see, the government shut down. The government always shut down, man. Like, it's been a lot of shutdown. Trump done shut it down more than anybody. But the government have shut down shit a lot of times. Obama did it. Trump did it twice. I just was looking at that shit a couple days ago. Because I was talking to my mother about it. In fact, I think I sent it to her. Let me see. I must send this shit on my other phone. Or the phone that I'm on. Yeah, they taking Turning Point USA in the whole direction, man. Whole nother direction. Then you got Stephen A. Smith calling out Jasmine Crockett. Stephen A. Smith needs to sit his ass down some motherfucking way. Now, I done called out Jasmine Crockett a few times. I just don't like the fact that she's cosplaying as the ghetto black woman. I told y'all a lot of these people is playing characters. You know what I mean? That's the more and more I'm realizing that it ain't just Charleston White. It's a lot of these niggas. It's Stephen A. Smith. It's motherfucking Jasmine Crockett. I'm thinking Ryan Clark playing the character now. And he apologized for no reason. They ain't who they portray online. But Stephen A. Smith is a fucking clown. I don't know, man. I mean, to be honest, right? To be totally honest, him performing at the Super Bowl is crazy. If he ain't speaking English, you know what I mean? Like, that is wild. That is wild, yo. Like, I really can't even vouch for that. What's up, Major? Like, you really gonna have a whole Super Bowl halftime show in motherfucking Spanish? You know what I mean? In Spanish? Yo, how many of us actually speak Spanish? Like, I don't know. I think that might be one of the lowest rated Super Bowls. Because I don't think I'm watching that shit. Fuck am I watching motherfuckers speak Spanish for? If he do it in English, it might be a hell of a show. But I think he sings in Spanish, don't he?
Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself. I'm like, is that going to help your district of Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment?
This is another thing too about Jasmine Crockett, right? Jasmine Crockett never spoke out about that motherfucker Carmelo Anthony situation. She never said anything about it. With all the media attention that case garnered and the firestorm that it created online, for her to be this spokesperson like she portrays to be, yo, she never said not one word about that shit. Not one fucking word.
Impediment to what Trump wants. How much work goes into that? I'm just gonna go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and
I would like it if that was the real her. You ain't see the other videos of Jasmine Crockett talking before she adapted this character? She playing the character.
That's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is.
I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the
Yeah.
House. But maybe if
What's up,
I'm willing to
Shab?
work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 50.
Now I do agree, yo. Like when it come down to like, all right, I do agree with Stephen A. Smith. When it, I ain't just talking about Jack Crockett, I'm talking about in general. When it comes down to the primaries and the election, like I get being a political adversary. You feel me? Yo, but once a person, whether it's Democrat or Republican, become in office, if you are a representative from a state, yo, you obligated to work with that person, man. If you want your interests served, if you care about your people. But what happens in politics is, yo, they don't care about the people. You feel me? Like that's the misconception of these political figures. Like they're not out here speaking for the people. They're out here speaking for their own interests to their party. Now, if the people benefit in the process, that's good. A whoop de doo. Ain't that what Thug said? But that's not their sole and core purpose of what they doing. You understand? Because if they did, they will understand what I'm saying. The same thing Stephen A. Smith, goofy ass, just said. Though you got to deal with whoever's the president. If you want your interests served in your state, you know you got to deal with them people. Like it's no benefit of keep being disrespectful, keep saying demeaning things, keep being a detractor when this is the guy that can give you government funding to your state.
15 years to represent the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated.
Who's we? I don't know who the fuck we is, but she makes it. Who's we? I like, yo, see, that's yo. We gotta, yo. This word we is getting put out of context. Like, I don't know who the fuck we is. Like, I don't think we is all on the same page. Like, I think people are serving their own interests. And like I said, I don't think the interest of a lot of these people is in the same interest of the people. If you understand what I'm saying. So I can't agree with we. I don't know who the fuck we is. Like, we ain't doing shit. But yeah, you ain't see the videos of Jasmine Crockett talking? Normal? Not normal, but talking like a white girl? That's when I started fucking with her. I'm like, oh, she cosplaying. Let's see if I can find it this way. Yeah, I can't even find it this way. Yeah, Shane used to talk like that, man. She's very well spoken. Somebody did a video on it exposing it. But then you got this. Attorney General Letitia James, who investigated Donald Trump business practices, have been indicted on federal bank fraud charges. See, yo, this the thing, right? Good vibes. Yo, I don't have no problem with Donald. Yo, because this is what they always do. I think what's going on right now with Donald Trump is that he's showing you how this government really works. You know what I mean? This government is controlled. The federal government is controlled. They bend to political pressure. They got political prosecutions. You feel me? And this is how it always been. Now, the Democrats are like to hide it. Like the shit they did to Trump. Yeah, that was a political prosecution, man. That prosecution was handed down on behalf of somebody else. And they tried to, like in a way, throw rocks and hide their hand. Donald Trump is just being outright with that shit. I'm coming after everybody that came after me. I can't wait to the indictment of Dr. Fauci. That's the biggest indictment that need to happen. Dr. Fauci needs to be indicted for that stunt he pulled with that fucking COVID-19. And his ass need to be charged with fucking war crimes. This is why, if y'all remember when Joe Biden left office, he do major for real. When Joe Biden left office, he tried to get these people immunity. You know, not immunity. What did he try to do? What the fuck that shit called, y'all? When they I can't even think of it. When they leave office and then they give people clemency. He tried to give them people clemency. And remember Donald Trump fought it. He denied that shit. He denied their clemency. Yeah, pardon. That's what it was. Pardon. That's what it was. He tried to pardon them people. And Donald Trump denied that shit. Now he coming after everybody that did him wrong. But Fauci should have been the first on the list. Fauci should have been the first on the list. But like I don't have a problem with this, y'all, because this is how politics work. It always worked that way. That's how it worked. He just been outright with it. And look at this dumb motherfucker. I'm gonna get on his ass.
Let's see.
We're gonna talk about his ass later.
But
Oh, that shit funny. Hold up. So Ted James spoke about this shit.
Tonight, New York's Attorney General Letitia and the president's own public statements make clear.
I do want to discuss some breaking news right now as we are learning here into our newsroom that a grand jury has indicted New York Attorney General Letitia James on potential around alleged fraud, indicted on fraud charge in the latest case against a Trump foe. This, according to an Associated Press source. The contents of the indictment still not unsealed as of Thursday afternoon. James has been under investigation since May over a 2023 mortgage she took out to help a niece buy a home in Norfolk, Virginia. Of course, this also coming in the same district.
See, yo, this right here is a predatory prosecution. Yo, they could get almost all these people for this. This is the same crimes they got Marilyn Mosby for. Marilyn Mosby just got her shit overturned. But this is the same crimes they got Marilyn Mosby for. If you're from Baltimore, you know what I'm talking about. Lying on the mortgage application. The easiest way to get one of these motherfuckers is probably that way right there. Lying on the mortgage application.
Virginia that we saw earlier within the last several weeks. James Comey get indicted as the U.S. Attorney there, Lindsay Halligan. She is now in that position after under pressure by Trump to bring charges against Comey and James. Eric Seibert resigned, was replaced by the U.S. Attorney, a former personal attorney to Trump, Lindsay Halligan. So the charges obviously come as Trump. I do want to discuss some breaking news right now. Continues to call for his enemies to be prosecuted in court. Former FBI Director James Comey pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to allegedly making a false statement in a congressional proceeding. The Justice Department also opened investigation into former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton, Democrat Adam Schiff, and others. Of course, Letitia James, the relationship between her and Trump has been adversarial for years as James campaigned on promises to investigate Trump and ultimately won a civil fraud case against Trump, his adult sons, and his real estate business. The judge found them liable for fraud for inflating the value of their properties and ordered Trump to pay $355 million in penalties.
Dang.
Trump has appealed that case. So some big news here. New York Attorney General Letitia James indicted on on a fraud charge by a grand jury weeks there in this district in Eastern Virginia by Lindsay Halligan. James Comey, we do know that it happened yesterday. He pleaded not guilty. That will not move forward until January 5 of next year. So a lot to dive into a little bit later on. But first, let's sign away for a quick minute break.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions
Politics,
are
y'all.
a grave
Told y'all.
violation of our...
Yo, right now, yo, this is just being highlighted about how dirty politics is, yo. The shit that we've been telling people for the longest time. When people like to talk about the streets, and I be like, man, y'all worry about the wrong shit. Politics is what's the worst thing going on in this country. Politics is vicious, man.
our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country. This is the time for leaders. This is nothing more than a continue on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice.
It's not a justice
I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence, not politics. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, and I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space. And so today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith
Yeah, I
teaches
should probably
me,
get probation or
no
something.
weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Little house arrest.
We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue on both sides of the aisle to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. And I will continue to do my job. To fiercely protect New Yorkers.
Well, if she get found guilty, it's gonna have to resign. What else it is to talk about? What else I wanted to show y'all? Donald Trump only cutting
And
Democratic
we'll be
programs.
making cuts that will be permanent. And we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs.
Yeah, I
we'll-
swear, this shit is funny to me. Hey, yo, people take this shit so serious. Yo, this shit is hilarious, bro. Cause yo, he's outright with it. Yeah, we already cut Democratic programs, and we don't even worry about it. Any programs that was authored by Republicans, yeah, we keep it up. We cut all Democratic programs. Yeah, this shit crazy.
We'll be making cuts that will be permanent.
Yeah.
And we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs. And but we're going to start that. And we have Russell, who can talk to you about it if he wants to. But we'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans, frankly, because that's the way it works. They wanted to do this. So we'll give them a little taste
look.
of their own medicine.
This is what I'm telling you, but they on the same team. So whenever the Democrats get in, they're gonna cut Republican programs. You understand what I'm saying? This is the game that they play with the people. Like, he's acting like he's our adversary. Yeah, man, I'm gonna cut their programs, then they gonna cut in. Then the Democrats cut in, they gonna cut Republican programs, then all these programs gonna be cut. But there's really the plan the whole time on both ends.
But we're going to start that, and we have Russell, who can talk to you about it if he wants to. But we'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans.
Just like I just showed y'all when he was talking about free speech. When Democrats was coming down on free speech during the election, Republicans seemed like they was upset. How they was acting. Then they come in and do the same motherfucking thing. It's all part of the plan, man. It's all part of the plan. That's how this shit work. Hold up, it was something else I wanted to show y'all. Trump talk about his cognitive test. That shit was funny as a bitch. Ooh, I'm gonna get to that. Where the fuck is that shit at? Oh yeah, he had a perfect score. Oh, look at this shit. This nigga Trump is a fucking comedian, man.
But I also did a cognitive exam, which is always very risky because if I didn't do well, you'd be the first to be blaring it. And I had a perfect score. And one of the doctors said he's almost never seen a perfect score. I had a perfect score. I got the highest score.
Crazy.
And that made me feel good. When they asked, would I like to do one? I said, yeah. I said, did Obama do it? No.
Crazy,
did Bush do it? No. Did Biden do it? I definitely did. Biden wouldn't have gotten the first 3 questions right. No, Biden didn't do it. Biden should have done it. I'm actually a person that believes that if you're president, you should do a cognitive exam. But the last time I took a cognitive exam, and it was a perfect score. The doctors announced it. And by the way,
Yeah, where's these
not
doctors?
the easiest test.
Yeah, why the doctors? We should have brought the doctors up there to verify these claims, man. Nigga said Biden. I'm sure he probably got all the questions wrong.
First
Yeah,
few
this is
questions are
hilarious. This
pretty
is like a
easy.
fucking movie, man.
Once you get into the middle, it gets a little trickier. And there aren't a lot of people in this room that would get every single question right, I can guarantee
You're
you.
putting me in a difficult spot. Next question.
Yo, he
But
said he
I
got
also
every
did
question
a
right, yo.
cognitive exam, which is always very risky because if I didn't do well, you'd be the first to be blaring it. And I had a perfect score. And one of the doctors said he's almost never seen a perfect score. I had a perfect score. I got the highest score. And that made me feel good.
They got to lie
When
like
they
a
asked,
motherfucker.
would I like to do one? I said, yeah. I said, did Obama do it? No. Did Bush do it? No. Did Biden do it? I definitely did. Biden wouldn't have gotten the first 3 questions right.
Yeah,
No,
this
Biden
nigga-
didn't do it. Biden should have.
This nigga can't stand Biden. Yo. Yo, he take a shot at Biden every chance he fucking get.
I'm actually a person that believes that if you're president, you should do a cognitive exam. But the last time I took a cognitive exam, and it was a perfect score. The doctors announced it. And by the way, not the easiest test. The first few questions are pretty easy. Once you get into the middle,
Yeah,
it
he
gets a little
stays to his
trickier.
shots, bro.
And there aren't a lot of people in this room that would get every single question right. I
Damn.
guarantee
You're
you.
putting me in a difficult
You know what I'm saying? They like, then he just shit on everybody in the room. Now, hey, look, a lot of y'all ain't gonna get every single question right. Yeah, man. I know I'm 80 something. Y'all might be in y'all 20s and 30s. Yeah, man. Y'all cognitive skills ain't up to par with mine. That's what he said, y'all.
spot. Next question.
I-
All right, yo. So look, right. So now yo, they're attacking this. Well, they acting like they're attacking radicalism. You know, that's the perception that they putting out there. You got Pam Bondi did a speech. He said there's a reason he's testing regularly. It probably is, man.
At FNB, you can apply for 4.
Now the Trump has unhinged, man. Oh Lord, yo, you see, we be talking about radicalization. Now they seem like they're trying to make an attempt to combat radicalization, but they only doing it on one end. Yeah, man, it's a lot of radicalization going on, man. It ain't just left. And I still haven't seen no indictments. Like, yo, where's the indictment of these crews? Like, it's good to say, I want to see RICO charges. You know, like they came down on Dirk and Big U and all the rest of them guys. Where's the RICO charges for these radical groups? We haven't seen them yet.
Violence in this country. We've seen attacks against police officers, federal agents, including the deadly shooting in the ICE facility in Dallas. Night after night, Antifa wreaks havoc on our streets of our cities. In Minnesota, a gunman murdered a state lawmaker and her husband. It was horrific. An anti-Semitic lunatic tried to burn down
white crime.
Governor Shapiro's house while he was in it with his wife and young children. This week, authorities arrested a man outside a Catholic church in Washington, D.C., with hundreds of explosive devices. And on September 10th, our nation stopped in its tracks with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We miss him dearly. Unfortunately, I'm here today to talk about similar threats that were made against Benny Johnson and his wife, Kate. Benny's a well-known media personality, carrying a message very similar to Charlie's, grounded largely in faith and love of country. Just days after Charlie's assassination, Benny received a letter at his home where he and Kate are raising their beautiful, beautiful young family. The author of this letter made it very clear that he hated Benny because of his views, and he wanted Benny dead.
Damn.
This was a coward hiding behind a keyboard who
fuck
thought he
Benny
could
do to
get
him, man?
away with this.
And the crazy thing about it, yo, when we was talking about this type of shit, yo, people try to act like, oh, it ain't that big of a deal. It's not happening that often. I'm like, man, shit. Did y'all hear what he just did? Let's do it again. This man don't know this guy or his family from a can of paint and threatened him. Said he was gonna kill him. He wanted them dead, man. It don't matter how they died. Car crash, in the hail of bullets, cancer. It wouldn't matter to him. He just wanted them dead. You know, he couldn't sleep at night.
And he wanted Benny dead. That he hated Benny because of his views, and he wanted Benny dead.
Damn.
This was a coward hiding behind a keyboard who thought he could get away with this. That's why we're standing up here today. You are not going to get away with threatening people in this way. And I'm proud to announce that we have arrested the author of this letter. George Isbell Jr. was taken into custody this morning, and we are charging him federally with mailing threatening communications. It is a crime, and if convicted, he is going to prison. This was incredible teamwork. Benny called me right away. Chief Burkall, thank you. You were on it right away. Matt Fodor and all the FBI agents. Thank you, U.S. Attorney Kehoe.
Yeah, what is our credentials, y'all?
All of the U.S. Postal Service, FBI, state and local law enforcement working together. This is what it's about. And we are going to catch you if you think you can do something like this. We don't care if you're across the country in California. We will find you, we will arrest you, we will extradite you, and we will bring you to justice. We cannot allow this political violence to continue any longer. This arrest will serve as a reminder to many. Do not do this. We will find you. Greg Kehoe is going to give some details of the incident, of the horrible crime. And we're not going to get into specifics of what's in the letter. It's pretty horrific, and it's now a pending case. But I just want to thank all of the law enforcement officers standing behind me. And I want to thank Benny and Kate for standing so strong and fighting for their views and not cowering in fear, but coming out and supporting their faith and their values. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Just preliminarily, I'm Greg Keo, the U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Florida. I just want to introduce some of the individuals that are here at the podium, so you can put names to faces, and they have all participated in this. As the general there said, this was a coordinated effort.
Mickey?
In my far right is Rodney Crawford. He's the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI. Next to him is Blad Rojo, who is the Inspector in charge for the Postal Service.
Hey,
And
Red.
Mark Glass is behind me. Right behind me, he is the Commissioner of FDLE. And last but certainly not least is Chief Lee Burkaw of the Tampa Police Department. You know, often we talk about coordinated, organized efforts by
real?
law enforcement to get something done. And I will tell you, this is a textbook example of that. This letter came in to Mr. Johnson and his wife. They immediately contacted the Tampa Police Department. Lee Burkaw and his folks at Tampa Police Department got on this letter right away. Right away, pulled in the FBI, pulled in FDLE. The Postal Service was able to track where this letter was sent from in San Diego in a miraculously quick period of time. FDLE turned around the fingerprints that were obtained from the particular letter to identify George Russell Isbell on this matter. And there was an arrest by the FBI who was coordinating this
I wanna know what the letter said.
outside the San Diego area in conjunction with
Appreciate
the local
Nikki for
U.S.
the
Attorney's
$6
Office,
cash app.
the
Appreciate
FBI
it,
in San
Nikki.
Diego, and last but not least, the San Diego Police Department. What we have here, and you can look at the complaint that has been filed and that is before you, is a vicious, horrific letter threatening Mr. Johnson and his
I wanna
family,
hear the letter.
sent to Mr. Johnson's house. In the complaint that you'll see, and also it attaches Isbell's letter, he is calling for the extermination of Mr. Johnson.
Damn.
That he should be strangled by an American flag.
Damn.
That somebody blows his head off.
I
and then
told
some-
you, see, y'all think I be joking. I told you it didn't matter how he died. Strangulation, gunfire, car accident, natural causes. He just wanted them dead, man. Like, yo, this shit is crazy. And people don't think this is the issue. That's crazy. People don't think this is the biggest issue that America is facing right now. Yeah, man, they want to talk about black on black crime. Hell no. Right now, white radicalization is the biggest threat to American national security. Now, you can disagree, but listen to this shit. He said he wanted them strangled. Yo, do you know the amount of hate you had to have to strangle a person that you don't know? I ain't talking about no crime of passion shit. You know, shit happened, however it is, it's fucked up. But I'm talking about a person that you don't know, you just see on the streets, and you just want to strangle them to death. Yo, that's vicious, man. This guy needs to be taken off the streets. But to humanity, he might have strangled before. He might be a serial strangler. You never know. Talking like this, I think he needs to be thoroughly investigated. Investigate his family. They might be complicit.
Of Mr. Johnson, that he should be strangled by an American flag, that he hoped somebody blows his head off, and then some vicious comments thereafter. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been at this podium many times before, and I say this and I say it again to echo what the Attorney General has just said and what the Attorney General has said throughout the country when similar instances have come up. Such conduct will simply not be tolerated. It will not be tolerated.
Oh, yeah,
if
Nick.
you send a communication to anyone, anyhow, anywhere, where you are threatening individuals with harm, you will be prosecuted by the United States Department of Justice. And you will be prosecuted while we bring
Hit that like button,
the
y'all.
joint assets of law enforcement, as you see here, the Tampa Police Department, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the United States Postal Service, and of course, coordinating this is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So the word should go out, and it should be no mistake that if you decide at any point, at any time, to write such a thing and send it over the wires, or in this instance, put it in the mails, you will be prosecuted and you will be held accountable. If we can just take a couple of moments, I know Mr. Johnson wants to make a few comments, and I invite you to do so.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, officers.
Oh man, just get to the speech, bitch.
1 month ago today, I witnessed my friend of 10 years, someone who I considered a brother, a loving husband, a devoted father, a generational leader, get assassinated on a live stream by a left-wing radical.
There we go. Told
Approximately
y'all.
1 year ago,
Assassinate on the live. Who's that? Hold on. Let's go back.
assassinated on a live stream. Father, my friend of 10 years, someone who I considered a brother, a loving husband, a devoted. I witnessed my friend of 10 years 1 month ago
Oh,
today.
he's talking with Charlie Kirk.
I witnessed my friend of 10 years, someone
Yeah, he's
who
talking with Charlie Kirk.
I considered a brother, a loving husband, a devoted father, a generational leader, get assassinated on a live stream
I don't know, no,
by a
man.
left-wing radical.
These threats start to come into fruition. Like these ain't empty threats, man. These motherfuckers more like promises. Like these guys are out of control, man. They're dangerous to society, man.
Approximately 1 year ago, I witnessed the President of the United States get shot in the head by a
Damn.
left-wing radical,
Shot in the head.
who also took the life of a Trump supporter in front of his daughters and wife.
I don't think I got shot in the head.
2 months ago, Christian children kneeling and praying in a church were slaughtered by a left-wing extremist. And 2 weeks ago, federal law enforcement was shot at multiple sniper rounds in a federal facility by a left-wing extremist.
Told y'all this shit real.
If it's happening every single week, is it that extreme? Or has the Democrat Party mainstreamed
Yeah, but
violence?
see, but it's not just the Democrat Party. This is happening on both ends, man. That's why it's hard to really take this serious, because they keep talking about this is happening on both ends. Radicalization is a problem. Kids being radicalized is a problem, and nobody really wants to address the real issue. I just think we need them in jail, man. Like that's all I want. Now I'm anti-white. Here y'all go with this. Why do y'all do that, man? How am I anti-white for pointing out this is not an issue? Is white radicalization not an issue in this country? You got tricked. You one of the dumb ones. You think these people really you think these people really don't like each other? Like that's what you really think? You think they're not on the same team? You stupid as a motherfucker. If you think they really in opposition. Dumbass.
As a political tool. The individual who wrote me described why
Yeah, I do remember that, Crip. I do remember that. It did used to be on the DHS report. I forgot about that. That's a good point. Right radicalization is the issue. It's the biggest issue in America. Right now, it's the biggest issue. Talking about the government shutdown. Everything, we need to be all hands on deck on these radicalized people, including children.
I was a white,
Hell no.
cis,
Why the fuck would I
Christian Trump supporter.
That's a dumbass shit to say.
They described in great detail how I would be killed in an open field, just like Charlie. How much blood would come out of my head and neck
Listen to this shit.
when it was blown off.
Nothing to do. Listen to these threats. Let me go back. I keep stopping. Let's go back to this whole speech.
The individual who wrote me described why he wanted me dead. I was a white, cis, Christian Trump supporter. They described in great detail
I would vote Trump
how I
over
would be killed in an open
Obama.
field, just like Charlie. How much blood would come out of my head and neck when it was blown off.
Damn.
This individual described orphaning my 4 beautiful children and widowing my wife with great joy.
That is vicious.
You might want to say, another left-wing radical, another extremist. And to that, I would like to direct your attention to the state of Virginia,
I don't remember what year it
where
was.
Democrats have nominated
See, yo,
and are about to
Christian,
vote.
yo, y'all really falling for that shit. Yo, they're not opponents, right? They're not opponents. What they're doing is they're making us opponents. But they not opponents. They in it for the money, man. Like, yo, how did y'all, I swear I keep asking this question. How did y'all fall so deep down this political rabbit hole? Like, who sold y'all this dream? You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. They sold y'all a dream of left versus right. Bloods versus Crips. You know what I mean? You got the Bloods, the Republicans, and the Crips is the Democrats. Yo, y'all really brought into that shit. Yo, they not beefing with each other, man. How can you explain this for the people that think they're in that position? How can you explain when the Democrats was silencing people and the Republicans took an issue with it? Y'all remember this, right? Y'all remember when they were silencing people and they was kicking people out? All that was Democratic motivated. That was what? Censorship. What year was censorship? 2018? Something like that? 2019? Whatever. It was during the pandemic. 2019, 2020. Republicans was fighting vigorously against censorship. Now, the Republicans are censoring people. Trump just talked about it. Let me go back to what Trump just said. He just talked about it. If these people really was in opposition, yo, we don't do racism over here, y'all. So I don't know I don't know what's up with you. If these people really was in opposition, Trump wouldn't be saying things like this. Listen to him. Y'all might have missed
flag
this.
burning mob, and we've made it 1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech.
I don't fuck with Obama.
What has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts. That flag.
Yep. Never passed the courts, which means ain't never been no freedom of speech. Yo, I don't fucking support Obama. See, yo, why do y'all think all black people support? Y'all, I'm gonna tell you, yo, most black people I know don't support Obama. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about who they're censoring. Censorship. I thought we had the right to free speech over this motherfucker, man. That's the dream that they sold to people. See, but us as black people, we knew that shit was a lie. Because if it was a right to free speech, Martin Luther King wouldn't have got assassinated. Malcolm X wouldn't have got assassinated. Medgar Evers wouldn't have got assassinated. Ain't never been no right to free speech ever. Because free speech should be free of consequence. But you keep talking about Obama. But I can't talk about this. You got conservative platforms all over YouTube spreading lies on black crime, making that the biggest issue in the world, where this is obviously a huge issue because this stretches beyond a certain community. This could happen anywhere. This could happen anywhere. They can wake up radicalized one day and decide to just run up into school. But y'all want to ignore this like this is not a fucking major problem. This is a major problem. We talking about innocent people being murdered. We're not talking about street beefs that turn deadly. We're not talking about disputes between two people, two acquaintances that turn deadly. We talking about random shootings with multiple casualties. And y'all want to sit back and act like, this shit don't deserve maximum attention. I want to see RICO charges. I want to see indictments. I want to see stiffer laws. Maybe we need to introduce the death penalty for these radicalized people. Maybe we should bring back the death penalty for radicalized youth. You understand? And adults. Yeah, but free speech should be free of consequence. You know what I mean? If speech was really free It shouldn't be consequences behind it. You should be able to say what you want. But it ain't never been that way. You can never say what you want. Charlie Kirk tried to say what he wanted. That man was assassinated, man. And they trying to paint a picture like, oh, this was a lone gunman. Let me tell you something. Whenever it's an assassination attempt like that, yo, it's never a lone gunman. It wasn't a lone gunman in motherfucking JFK murder. It wasn't a lone gunman in Martin Luther King murder. It wasn't a lone gunman in Malcolm X murder. It ain't never no lone gunman. Yeah, I'm denying black on black crime. Yes, I am. What is black on black crime? People kill who they live around. That's just what it is. Crime should never been placed on a demographic or a certain group of people. Everybody commits crime. Every group of people commits crime. But for some reason, they tricked y'all into believing black on black crime was the biggest issue in America. When black people don't even kill the most in America. Now, per capita, yeah, but you can dealing with poverty. You know, poverty, guns, drugs, breeds, criminal activity. It's not the people. It's the element of criminality. You understand? Criminality is an element that all people indulge in. So they presented this narrative that it was just black people and you got to worry about black, but we looked at the federal numbers. It's a lot of crime going on. It's a lot of crime going on in America. We looked at the rape numbers. Rape numbers in the white community was at like 60 or 70% per capita. But nobody wants to talk about that. Rape is just as bad as murder. You know, you rape a person, yo, you damn near killing them. Yo, people commit suicide. You know, people resort to drugs, alcoholism. Like a rape is a serious crime. Serious crime. To me, just as serious as murder. But yeah, it is. That is what it is. It's not always a Democratic government. That's just the stories they want to highlight. See, yo, people gotta understand media. Media can get you to believe anything. Yeah, we're not 13%, we're 29%. Federal government 2019 said we are 29% of the population in America. That 19% shit is not true. Federal government 2019 crime log.
The 2019 statistics show the estimated rate of violent crime was 366.7 offenses per 100,000 inhabitants, and the estimated rate of property crime was 2,109.9 offenses per 100,000 inhabitants. The violent crime rate fell 1% when compared with the 2018 rate. The property crime rate declined 4.5%.
Hold on, where the fuck is that shit at? That's another lie being told. Now, where the fuck is that article, yo, that we was looking at a couple of days ago? Now, media manipulates people, man. Media is not media; it's really propaganda. You know, if media was real, if we had real media, they wouldn't tell you what to think. You understand what I'm saying? They wouldn't tell you what to think. They would just give you the news and let people decide on their own. Where the fuck is that goddamn that whole article we was looking at? By race. Oh, here we go. So this is crime in America. This is crime in America, man. This is the percentage of the crime that's being committed in America. Black people commit 26.6% of the crime in America. White people commit 69.4% of the crime in America. This is the murder numbers. This is the numbers everybody like to go to. Oh, you 13% of the population and commit 51% of the people say violent crime, but it's really just murder. What the fuck the page cut off? Oh yeah, it's really just murder. Murder and manslaughter. See it? Murder, manslaughter. Black people, white people. You go to violent crime in America. Right here. 59%, 36%. Yo, crime doesn't have a color, man. You said murder would be considered violent crime. Scarface, what are you talking about? Murder would be considered violent crime. Like nobody wants to really talk about the numbers. People just want to talk about what they want to talk about. Look at the burglary numbers. 68% to 28%. What's this? 70% to 24%. Arsons. 70% to 24%. Violent crime. 59 to 31. Like, these are the numbers, y'all. But nobody wants to talk about that. And it's not, and this, I'm not doing this to try to make, these are per capita numbers, bro. These are per capita numbers. These, you see, these are percentages. Percent distribution. These are per capita numbers. This is the number everybody want to go to when they talk about murders, right? So this number is real, but the rest of them fake. So if the rest of them fake, we got to discredit that black people commit 51% of the homicides. If we're not going to believe the rest of these numbers, then we shouldn't believe this one either. Is that an accurate analysis? Or we just picking and choosing what numbers we want to believe? Somebody got to let me know, man, because I'm getting confused. Every time we do these videos, I get more and more confused as to, what people believe and what people don't. Yo, it was a YouTuber that pulled this graph up and was appalled. A conservative YouTuber. He was appalled when he seen the real numbers. He thought, based off of propaganda and based off of media manipulation, he thought that the numbers in the black community was going to be way higher. But what he found out was, it wasn't. Look at it. Look at the numbers. This black, it's white. Get the numbers. 74.6% sex offenses. Look at this. Sex offenses except rape and prostitution. Fuck that shit up. 76.4% to 20%. What's this? 71 to 26. Drug abuse violations. I'm just saying, yo, we should have never put a race on crime. That was propaganda that a lot of people fell for. It's propaganda. A lot of people fell for it. And the problem is people fell so deep into it that they don't even want to believe anything else. Even when the numbers show you otherwise. They don't even want to believe the numbers no more. They don't want to believe the numbers no more. Numbers don't exist now. Numbers not real now. Numbers not real now. Look at theft. Weapons carried in possession. 55 to 41. Stolen property, 61 to 34. These are the numbers everybody like to talk about. Fraud, forgery, violent crime. These are the numbers, y'all.
For the chief law enforcement.
See, look, y'all want to come in with threats. Why y'all like that? These are the numbers. These are per capita numbers, y'all. Larceny and theft, 66.3 to 30.2. Like I said, if we're gonna discredit these numbers, then we gotta discredit this one. Because this is everybody go to. Black people, that's 13% of the population, commit 51% of the murders. How many of y'all heard this before? How many of y'all heard this before? Dude, I'm not using Google. The fuck is you talking about? Do you see what this? You see what this page is? You dumbass. This the last state stats that they got. You see that motherfucking Department of Justice federal seal on that bitch? Right. Black people, 13% of the population, commit 51% of the murders, right? Y'all believe that? Right? You see? You see what it say right here? Murder and non-negligent manslaughter. Go to black. 51%. Y'all believe this number. But why don't y'all believe the rest of them? All right, so Larry Kruger, so this number fake right here? If this number fake, we can move on. If people is willing to admit that this is fake, then we can move on. And we can go back to radicalization. So Larry, don't never reference this number again, man. Don't ever be in your household talking about black on black crime and say black people commit 51% of the murders in the United States. Because you just said these numbers are fake. Right? Larry Kruger? Now, look, now you don't want to say they fake no more. See, man, y'all be tripping me out. That's why I be calling y'all hypocrites. And y'all duck accountability. Because we talking about radicalization. And people like to make it seem like black on black crime or black people is committing most of the crime in America. And I'm showing y'all that that is a fucking lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Look at the numbers. This the FBI statistics that everybody love to praise. Hey, Larry Kruger, where you go at? Well, this don't say 80%. This say 26%. This say white America commits 69.4%. So I don't know where you getting them numbers from. These are the stats. What are you talking about, man? Right, it is good. It is good and evil. It is, Daryl. I agree. It's not, and that's the whole. It's not about race. The media didn't trick people to believing it was about race. I am looking at the numbers. We all looking at the numbers, Larry. These the latest numbers we got. What more numbers do you want to see? These are the latest numbers that we have.
Officer in that state, a man who has done the exact same thing.
Yo.
An individual who's calling for the assassination by bullets of Republicans that he disagrees with. The killing of their children. The slaughtering of, as he says, little fascists. Are my four innocent, beautiful children little fascists? violence has been mainstreamed by the Democrat Party. It is not extremist, it is mainstream. And we need a moment of reckoning here. This has to stop. This cycle must end. Is any Democrat courageous enough to disavow violence? To call for individuals that espouse these things, like what happened to my family, or what's happening in Virginia, to call for those kind of candidates to step down? Will Democrats vote for that? Because if you're voting for that, then implicitly you're encouraging it, you're endorsing it. I don't want political violence. I want peace in my nation. I love this country. I want to be able to debate like Charlie did. I want to be able to raise my family in peace. That is our birthright. But you cannot make peace with evil as a Christian. You cannot unite with people who want you dead. I want unity in this nation. I want to be able to agree on more than what we disagree on. But for that first to happen, we must understand the battle. We are fighting good versus evil, darkness versus light. And good must conquer evil. Do not make peace with evil. To that end, and in conclusion, I would like to thank federal law enforcement, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, the FBI, the DOJ, the Tampa Police Department, the detectives here, with absolute pinpoint accuracy, professionalism, courtesy, swift and tact. They were able to act instantly in order to make sure that my family was safe. Potentially to preserve the lives of my children. And they're doing that for families all around the country in many different ways. Every American should unite behind that cause. No matter who you are, you should say, this is a country where families should be able to raise their children safely, where people can have peaceful disagreements, and where we can all live together under one American flag. I just want to profoundly thank the Trump administration and federal law enforcement and local law enforcement for saving my family. I will never forget it. It is the greatest goodness that has ever been done to me. And that is a thing that every American can get behind. The Trump administration making America safe again. God bless them.
We'll take, do you have a few questions?
Attorney General,
Wait, I'll go left to right. Okay.
Attorney General, I do know that it's unfortunate what happened to your family in that letter, but you just described that this is solely put on by the Democratic Party. Do you see it that way, that this is something that is caused by the Democratic Party?
No, and I just talked about what happened in Minnesota to a Democrat, what happened in Pennsylvania to a Democrat governor. No, this was a left-wing radical, absolutely. The same type of person who murdered and assassinated Charlie Kirk. That's what we're talking about here today. But it doesn't matter who you are. If you commit an act of violence, a written threat through the mail, we are going to find you. These men behind me are going to hunt you down and find you. This guy thought he got away with this, and he thought he could hurt Benny and his family, and it's not going to happen. We have open cases, other open cases all over this country, and we're going to find you. Any other question? Yes, hey.
General,
Sure.
A couple questions. One is just about the case itself. Does this fellow, was he found to have any means of carrying it out, and did he have firearms available to him?
This is an ongoing investigation. The man is in custody. I will defer that question until the appropriate time because it is still very much under investigation and following all the leads that we possibly can.
And that's a very good question.
I want to ask also, Attorney
Sure.
General, just during Charlie Kirk's funeral, the president said, I disagree with Charlie. I hate my opponent. I don't want the best for them. Would you encourage the president, just given what we're talking about here and the seriousness and how people take every word and use it to reinforce reinforce their preconceived notions about people. Someone crazy could act on words like that. Would you encourage the president to not say things like
The
that?
president said nothing about violence, absolutely nothing. And that was in response, I believe, to amazing Erica Kirk talking about her forgiveness. And he was saying how brave and bold she was and how difficult it is to forgive the person who assassinated. No, I'm not worried about that because that was not said. That was not said. No act of violence was said. If anyone is sending a threatening communication through the mail, like they did to Benny Johnson, we're going to find them and we're going to prosecute them. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Now look, girl, I don't buy this shit. I'm not gonna buy this until I start seeing indictments, man. Like for real. Yeah, I read into that, Ryan. They said they're not really getting a base. I read an article about that shit. They say they're not really getting a base, but who knows? They could be building a base in Idaho, Qatari, or whatever you call them motherfuckers. But I want to see indictments. I'm not gonna believe this shit until I see massive federal indictments come down on Black Lives Matter, Antifa, the neo-Nazis, some of them motherfucking rogue Christian groups. You know what I mean? It's a lot of radicalization. All you gotta do is look at the list. It's a list, yo, you can look up. Some of them is Christian groups. Some of them is Christian groups. And they call them terrorist organizations. But we don't see no indictments coming. That's the thing that's confusing. Y'all ready for it, y'all. We don't see no indictments coming. They just calling it what they calling it. But no arrest is being made. Meanwhile, on the reverse end, all I'm seeing is indictments in my community. Massive ones, sweeps. 30, 40 people. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the live. I gotta get ready to go to work. It's another day of Keeping G News. And I'm out.